Welcome to Jurassic Peak. Hello everybody and welcome back to Jurassic Peak. This is the grand finale of our Jurassic Peak Park Build series. 9 parts building, 1 part park tour. Here we are at the main hub of our park, and we are going to be doing a walkthrough tour as well as a little bit of explanation, so hopefully you are prepared. Now, at the time of recording this video, the total hours for Jurassic Peak save file is 43.5 hours. So, 43 and a half hours to build the park. It was about 7 hours to terraform the park. So it was not all building. I did spend time, of course, manipulating the terrain. The main hub was episode 1, which you're seeing now, and I wanted to make sure that I started the series right. So I'm pretty good at doing, I would say, building layout to an extent. I mean, it's not the worst thing I'm at. Here we have the grand entrance, which I used these monorail lines going over it. Turned out very well. It's the only place I use the monorail lines. Then we have the Innovation Center, and this is the main drag, the grand drag here. We have a huge patio area overlooking the ravine and lots of tables with umbrellas. You know, I love my umbrellas. Here we have, I suppose, one of the main arteries. If you don't want to go through the tourist trap of buying coffee, then you just follow this along here. To our right, it goes up to the aviary. And then down here, we have the Science Center. These buildings are more for the science experience. The main drag itself wasn't too difficult. I would say the main thing was just fitting everything together. When you come into the park, this is a view that you're greeted with. I wanted to make it feel more enclosed. I wanted it to be where you didn't really see much, but you got this grand experience coming in, like you're coming out of a tunnel into the wild. When you go, you would go through the back door, but if you're staying at the hotel, you would come out of a side door into the hotel area here. We have hotel areas on both sides of the Innovation Center. But if you are not going to a hotel, then you would come out the front, where we have these 2 wonderful statues. Part of the most recent update, I believe. So you would come out here, and we have the main drag, or the main strip here, with all of our delicious coffee shops. It is a little bit of a meme in the park build, but I made every shop a coffee shop. Except one shop, I believe, is a hot chocolate shop. Oh, there was a green tea shop too. But mainly I wanted to be caffeine. I just thought that would be funny. So, of course, there's plenty of seating at the restaurants, but if you want to take your coffee to go, you can come to the patio and drink your coffee while looking down at the beautiful prehistoric oceans area that I made. Now we do have a watchtower here. Well, not a watchtower, a viewing platform. And I put up the fences here just in case you fall out, like if there's an earthquake or something. But there's a lot of seating. The viewing platform here gets a pretty good view. This is really amazing. When you're having coffee, you can watch the dinosaurs jump up and take a bite out of that shark. So it's great. You can just see it, you know, with the distance. Everything is rendering. We will be exploring down there soon, but first I'm going to just show you around here. So we have these biosyn emergency shelters. I really like the look of them. More cafes on this side, and then we have this, I believe it's a paleomedical bay, but I really like the building design. I love that round shape. And coming through here, we're back at the Innovation Center, but we're going to go down the other side. Here we have the Jurassic tour, helicopter tour. I thought it'd be cool to have the administration building here, and then you go across the way to go into the tour. And I chose a building with an elevated helipad. So down there is the aviary to our right, but today we are going down this way for now to the Science Center. So this is where you'll get all your science tours, and you can learn about not just dinosaurs, but you can learn about their biology, which is pretty cool. And then another coffee shop here. You must be thirsty. Really, you should be drinking a coffee while you watch this presentation. So that is our main hub here, and I put the petting zoo, as I call it, right next to the main hub. I call it the petting zoo because I tried to make it very open. Of course, there is no petting zoo in the game, but there might be in Jurassic World Evolution 3, as far as I know, some form of mechanic, I believe. The petting zoo mainly is involving small dinosaurs. I tried to add pretty much every small dinosaur I could think of. I used invisible fencing. I really wanted you to get that really up close and personal experience with the dinosaurs here. So on the main path, I put these walls in, but on the branching paths in the petting zoo, I made it so that the path itself is dirt and there is no wall, just the invisible fence. So you get this really nice open experience. It's amazing how it turned out. I learned a lot doing this. I would say the whole Jurassic Peak, I learned a lot in my experience building this park because, as I've said in my build videos, I'm not a professional Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Evolution 2 player. In fact, I would say I'm quite amateur. But I really wanted to test myself with this park. So naturally, I will say that it is the best park I've ever made in my life up till now. But I really was trying new techniques, and I learned about, the step-by-step process about it, which is pretty cool. Now, of course, the park is not perfect in every way. Some of the paths have bumps, some of the paths have grass growing in them, unfortunately. I tried to make it as good as possible, but one thing I really wanted was visibility, dinosaur visibility. So here in the petting zoo, you can basically see everything pretty easily. I always imagine Grandma is bringing her grandkids to the Jurassic Peak, and Grandma's on a Rascal scooter, okay? One of those battery-powered ones. It has the little blinkers on it, but it is just a mobility scooter. And so Grandma, unfortunately, needs to have some, I suppose, what is the word I'm looking for? She needs to be treated well. We gotta take care of Grandma. So, Grandma has the grandkids. The grandkids want to get that Jurassic World experience, so the petting zoo is right next to the main hub. Grandma doesn't need to go out too far. Yeah, you just don't walk into the enclosure, kids. I am a licensed dinosaur zoologist, so I'm allowed to, but you're not. Here we have the next area. Again, this is the Big Five. These are my 5 favorite dinosaurs that don't fit into any other exhibit. So I would say I really have probably 10 favorite dinosaurs. but some of them are in the marine species area, some of them are in the aviary, some of them are in the Carno Crest. So these are what I just couldn't put anywhere else. So we have the Triceratops statue. Why not use it for this viewing gallery here? So we can enter the building and get a great view. One thing, honestly, for Jurassic World Evolution 3, there's one DLC. It's my most wanted DLC. It's called the Window Cleaner DLC. And this DLC would involve having a staff worker go and clean all the windows of the viewing galleries because they're so dusty. It's insane. You can't see anything out of them. Here we're getting a great up-close view of the Triceratops. You don't get this every day. Look at those horns. Absolutely stunning. So yes, a window cleaner DLC. I'd pay money for that. Now here we have this internal area here, but this is my least favorite of the top 5. These guys are interesting, but I think that I got a hard enough head. I don't need to admire anything else with a hard head. But they're pretty cool. You know, my top 5, my big 5, the reason they're my favorites is because growing up, those were very well-known dinosaurs. You didn't really have much choice. You get these 5. Here we have the Stegosaurus enclosure, but we're not going to check that yet. We're going to check this viewing gallery.
This is one of the world's best-known dinosaurs. This Jurassic herbivore possesses...
I love the narration. That's great. So here we have the Stegosaurus. I have 2 variants of them, which you can see them side by side. One of them is just a little more scaled, and the other is a little more leathery. But as far as I know, that's the only difference. Wow, we're getting really up close with these dinosaurs. I guess I would call you very lucky. So the Stegosaurus has 2 viewing galleries. We are going to check. To our right hand side is the swamp. So that is why it is overgrown on the path. I need to get my gardener to trim those shrubs back. So here, why not use the Stegosaurus statue? And what can we see? Some beautiful Stegosauruses. I really like the Stegosaurus. It's really high on my list. Top 3 favorite dinosaurs. Easily. Top 3. You're going to see my top 1 very soon. I'm saving my number 1 for last. If you did not watch my park build series, you know, part 1 to 9, then you don't know what my favorite is. But you will see it soon. So here we have the other viewing gallery. I did a river going through the middle. I thought that would be pretty cool. Here you get a great view of the color alterations. I say it in every video, but I don't know what the dinosaur is going to look like until I deliver it. So I can only guess what the colors are going to look like. Here we have our next enclosure. This one turned out great as well. You might know what it is by the sound of its call. So here we have these beauties. I chose, I think, 3 color variation. There's the one from Jurassic World. Which movie was that? Dominion? I forget. But the one with the blue, that's a pretty cool design. So I put it in just for the nostalgia. I did watch every movie. I did not watch Rebirth yet, but I did watch every movie up till Rebirth. Unfortunately, my memory kind of blurs them together, so I don't really remember the details too well. Here is my favorite dinosaur of all time. the Ankylosaurus. It is a stunning specimen. Um, I just think they're so cool. They are freaking awesome. When I went on a holiday to Japan, and I just happened to be there when they had Zool. The specimen Zool was on display. That's the one they found in Canada, and then it was in Japan for display. It's so cool. I got so up close with it. You can see all the muscle fibers. Here we have the swamp. This was a huge episode. If you were able to watch that episode, honestly, you need to comment in my comment section saying you watched the whole thing, and I will congratulate you, because that was a doozy. I couldn't even record the commentary in one go. It was such a big episode. 2.5 hours long. It was massive. But the way it turned out is so spectacularly good. I'm so proud of myself. I am so happy with what I've accomplished. I've never made a build like that before. I've made smallish, swampish things, sharing habitats, but never to this scale. So from the Big Five, we have this observation tower here. For this enclosure, this is the only way to see the dinosaurs, is with the observation tower. Today, let's see.
Many a decade.
What? Right. Anyway, where are the dinosaurs? Oh, there they are, way in the distance. Unfortunately, sometimes you don't get lucky. But you guys have been lucky enough with the Triceratops and the Stegosaurus coming right up to the fence. So, I guess you can't win every battle. We're going to go and check it out. This build is interesting. It has a main road, but it has a bunch of these branching roads that you really have to kind of go and come back. So I intended it for not to be bad. Grandma's Rascal will pick up some speed going down here. This here, you can see those dinosaurs, just spectacular. I made it so that, unfortunately, in Jurassic World Evolution 2, water does not flow. It only sits perfectly level. So I made it as if there were a bunch of pumping systems that were pumping it from level to level, which you're going to see throughout this area. Here we have this spectacular build. I used the Malta buildings for this, just for a different feeling. Here we have a sleepy guy at the front. I love these guys. Almost every dinosaur I like. Here he is, he wakes up. You okay? You alright? Nope, he's sleepy. That reminds me of myself sometimes. Sometimes I'll get up, make a little noise, and then go back to bed. Here we have some other beauties. I love these guys. As I say, there's very few dinosaurs I don't like, but generally the smaller they are, the less I like them. Because I want to see the dinosaur, right? I tried really hard. Oh, there's a great view for you. Again, we need the window cleaner DLC. Now this area here is more for the staff of the park. This is I suppose, a viewing area for the staff where they can make sure everything is okay with guests. So if you were a guest, you would not come down here. Now we super speed walk back because we have to go all the way back here and down here. So here we have more cafes, and down here we have a plaza. And this is a 3-species enclosure separated by invisible fencing. So we got some really striking colors. I can't wait for Jurassic World Evolution 3. I've said it in the build series, but I pre-ordered the deluxe edition. We are going to begin playing it immediately when it releases. I'm going to start a series as soon as possible. Here we have another species here. This one, I believe we have two variants of the same species. There's the other variant in the background, and it is much smaller, which is interesting. In the Park Build series,
In
when
the
we
early
did this
19th
episode,
century, iguana...
yeah, I do really appreciate the narration in those areas. It really adds to the immersion. Our final species is up here. Again, these multi-buildings, I am trying to vary my my build style. So here we have another lovely dinosaur. I love the front on that thing. It's got a real big nose, or whatever that is, which is pretty spectacular. Oh, he's curious. Must have smelt me. I haven't showered in a while. You come into this part of the park, you're going to be sweating a lot. So from the plaza, we come down here to another set of cafes. This is getting closer to the end of the area. Here we have our cafes, another little plaza. Now we're going to get to some of my favorites of this swamp area. I think you're really going to like what we did up ahead. There's a pumping station there. Like I said, it pumps from one level to the next. So this is the
but are now
Dimetrodon.
regarded as proto-mammals.
Wow, he's really flying. Ooh, where's he going? Must be hungry. I built this little castle area for them on an island in the middle. It's really cool. There's the food in the back. And you get a little sneak peek here of what we have up ahead. I really love how open this area is. There we go. This particular species was not in the park build. I forgot to show it. So I usually try to show each species being delivered, but I forgot that one. So that's a surprise for you. I did say in the episode, I believe, that I was forgetting a species, or forgetting to show it. So here we have a couple more of these viewing galleries. Great view. I love the crest. Again, pretty much all of these species in the swamp, except for the Spinosaurus and the Suchomimus, say that they only want 6% water. That is baloney. These guys look like they were made for the water. They look like they love water. Honestly, they have the mouth of a duck. What kind of duck-mouthed creature doesn't like water? So it is pretty interesting that they say 6%. That is lying on your resume. These guys as well, the Oroninus, or what are they called? Hold on, we'll see them. Oronosaurus. Oronosaurus, there we go, yeah. I gave them a little castle as well. I think they deserve it. I love the back. I love the shape of them. They're so exotic. Honestly, I'm just going to be saying that over and over again in this park build walkthrough. So there's the lagoon, but we are not going to the lagoon yet. We are going over here to see our last two species. And they happen to be the only ones that are, well, predators? I guess the Dimetrodon is a predator as well. Here we have the Spinosaurus, which looks really cool. I went with the red. One thing to add is that I don't know, it's a bit of a controversial opinion, but I love the Jurassic World Rebirth Spinosaurus design. I think it looks so cool. I like the original design too, from Jurassic Park 3, but the Jurassic World Rebirth design looks super cool. I love it. And hopefully we're going to be getting that in the third game. There's the Suchomimuses. They're all down there for some weird reason. I guess I didn't think things through when I built that viewing gallery. But, I mean, if you're here visiting the park, why not just sit outside on your bench for a little while and you'll see it. Here's a lagoon, or the prehistoric oceans. I built it level by level, so each lagoon is a different elevation than the others. And the reason I did that was to give the feeling, the atmosphere that you are descending into the depths of the ocean. So, of course, we're going to have air-breathing reptiles at the top, and then at the bottom we have our water breathers. Fish, basically. Or, well, whatever they are. Fish-like things. So this first lagoon is, of course, our most land-based of the dinosaurs or reptiles, marine species. We have some great ones. Now, for my YouTube channel, I did buy a bunch of DLCs. I bought Malta, I bought Biosyn, I bought marine species. That's scary. I am sorry if that startled you. I tried to turn down the volume. You're going to be hearing that for the rest of this lagoon time, so I suggest you maybe turn down the volume a little bit.
There is nothing like feeding time in our marine reptile enclosure.
So yes.
Keep an eye on our feeding timetable and join us for an absolutely
Anyway,
breathtaking display.
I bought the marine species pack. I bought the park manager pack. So that's 4 packs I bought on sale, of course, which is also why I don't have the other packs. Are not on sale. Ready for that sound? Oh, just when I move, that turtle goes over there. So down we go. We got some great species. The turtle is really cool here. Or the Iguanodon, or
Beneath the surface of the water, deep in the depths of prehistory, lie magnificent
have our,
marine marvels. Ladies and
other
gentlemen,
species.
prepare to be amazed.
Look at those colors. I just like how big they are. I like everything is big, except of course those tiny species that I don't like. You know, they just have stuff that we have on Earth, but or stuff we have in the modern day, I should say, but bigger, which is pretty cool. There they are. They get along. They cohabitate really well. But we must continue down. This next lagoon area is a little bit small for what we have inside of it.
Marine environment.
You can see it's like seaweed. You got this big beluga whale swimming in this swimming pool. But I guess we can't do much about that. I only have 2 of them though. I love the yellow on the chin. I think it really did turn out well.
The lagoon we have here was designed to
And
house
there we
our
have
marine
our
reptiles.
smaller
These
cousins.
mesmerizing animals are not actually dinosaurs, although they did live during similar ages.
Nice colors. So now we're just going to go check out the viewing galleries over here. We have a couple here. I was planning them from pretty much the beginning. It was an idea that I could do viewing galleries here. This area is kind of empty. I didn't have much planned, but I just think, well, we have the shark feeders here, so it could be good to have this option for people who don't want to go all the way down, but they might want to see some action. And we have another gallery here. These are for our 2 final lagoons, which you're going to see soon. Ooh, what's that? What's that? We're gonna find out. Unless, of course, you already watched the park build, in which case you know what that is. So here we're back where we were, and we are going to continue down into the depths of the ocean. This is where the real scary creatures start to emerge. Here we have, of course, the Mosasaurus lagoon with some other naughty creatures. Now, the Mosasaurus has been very bad today. It is not interested in coming to see us.
Predator, Mosasaurus utilizes the power of its large paddle-like tail to quickly propel itself, unleashing a sudden attack to fatally incapacitate its prey.
So terrible view. Of course it's because the windows are dirty, but also because the Mosasaurus does not want to perform today. Continuing on to our deepest of the lagoons. This particular lagoon
is one of the largest predatory placoderm fish to have ever lived. An apex predator with an armored head, this prehistoric hunter will patiently wait to ambush its unsuspecting prey.
Yes, the Dunkleocetus, or whatever it's called. That particular one is one of my recent interested species. Let me just... I got my paper here. How is that pronounced? Yes, really cool. In Animal Crossing New Horizon, I had a bunch of their, the skull. I'm pretty sure you can get the skull of it as a fossil. It's pretty cool. Here we have the other viewing gallery. Let's see if we have better luck on this one. It's pretty peaceful down here. Now, of course, I have the Megalodon as well. That is a must-have.
Like other placoderms, Dunkleosteus was actually toothless. Nevertheless, the powerful jaws of this Devonian predator comprise 2 pairs of razor-sharp and self-sharpening bony plates.
There is the Megalodon. Very, very intimidating. Again, we seriously need to clean these windows, but I did different colors, I believe, of both. You can't really tell, but at least the Megalodon, it had a red one and a blue one. I forget what I did for the Dunkleosteus. Now over here we have the final viewing gallery. This one is for the Mosasaurus. It's on the other side, but you have to go down and around. Other side again. He really doesn't want to be seen today. Must be very moody. And down there we have the Indominus Rex skeleton. You can see it on the bottom.
Just like their land.
Yeah, the Mosasaurus is not in the mood. So we're going to go back up to the hub. So here we have the aviary. It is built off of the hub. I decided to tuck it into this mountain nook where it really does blend in well. I used the I believe it's the Jurassic Park aviary. I really like how it's the metal mesh. It allows the air to filter. The Jurassic World one I don't really like as much because it is just a glass bubble or something. I don't think it looks very good. So up here we have the aviary. This one took a little bit of, well, I guess I just needed to take some time to consider it because the terraforming, I think the terraforming worked out in the end. So we have two aviaries on the bottom. On the one side, we have flying reptiles with teeth, and on the other side, we have flying reptiles with beaks. So I did separate them in that way. I would say it turned out pretty well. Unfortunately, I did lose a dinosaur in that particular aviary. Don't worry, I had backup. I had spare dinosaurs. Over here is the other side. Both sides have great view. But as I said in my park build, I think the aviaries are great for these smaller species, but they are terrible for the larger species, such as the Thanatostracan and the Quetzalcoatlus. Those particular flying reptiles are just too big that I feel like I am animal cruelty when I have them in the aviary. So I think that there should be something that we are able to do for those in the next game. Some sort of open system. Here we have the flying reptiles with the beaks. They really are spectacular. I quite like them. Okay, and to go to the next aviary, we have to go back around. I put the power lines around the aviary area. I think it really adds to the atmosphere. So we go up here, Grandma's mobility scooter, going up. Maybe the grandkids are hanging off the back. Gotta be careful of the bumps though. So you get a little view. I wanted to keep these dinosaurs, or well, not dinosaurs, flying reptiles up here because they are the kings or queens of the flying reptiles, so they deserve their own area. I have one of each. Look at that handsome fellow. And over there we have their wife. No, just joking. They are not a breeding pair. That is the Thanatostracan and the Quetzalcoatlus. You may remember in our park build, I had two sorry, is that what it is? The Thanatostracan, yes. I had two of those ones there. One of them sadly passed away due to starvation. But look how big they are in here. Honestly, they could get up to the very roof with just two flaps of their wings. Over here, tucked away at the very back, we have the cafe. Well, in the plaza, the aviary plaza, with a nice little pond in the middle. You can't really see it from this particular walkthrough, but I did want to make it look a little special. Here you can get a nice view of the aviaries, but without the danger of falling in. or falling down. There we have our nice little pond in the middle, and there we have our cafes. I didn't really do much with that area. Now over here, this is the third branch from the main hub. We have Bracky Valley. Bracky Valley was actually episode 2. Episode 1 was the main hub, so the visitor hub. Bracky Valley was episode 2. This is the first time we put dinosaurs into the park. And I remember the first dinosaur was put into the park at the 17-hour mark. So 17 hours into building this Jurassic Peak, the first dinosaur was included. A Bracky Valley turned out really well. I was needing to terraform it pretty hard. Here off the plaza, that's how we enter Bracky Valley. We have one log attraction. Here's a cafe. We do have a plaza. And on both sides of the valley is a walking path, but we're only going to go on one side. So from the log, we have our brachiosaurs. I have 2 types in here. I have both variants. So one is a 1997 variant, and the other is, I forget where that one's from. But they're a little bit different. There was a time when I was building the park, that's all you heard, was just the brachiosaur. So coming out of the log, here we have the plaza. I put the skeletons here to excite and to inspire. But this is where you're going to drink your coffee. So we're going to come up the side here, and we are going to go around Bracky Valley. Grandma's Rascal coming up here. I tried to make it very gentle, but Jurassic World Evolution 2, it's a bit difficult to get that gentle incline. I don't know if I'm just bad at playing, but I can't really do it. Here we have our first viewing tower, the observation tower. Here you can see our brachiosaurs in the viewing log. They are spectacular. Over there we have some other dinosaurs. We have quite the collection. All of them long-necked. So these are all the long-necked dinosaurs. Now, this is not an all-species park, unfortunately. There was a time when I thought I might be able to make it an all-species park, but at the same time, I'm really trying to give every dinosaur their own enclosure. And with the terraforming, there's just too many limitations for space. Here we have our plaza area, our first plaza area. We have an observation tower here where we can see some more dinosaurs. Oh, way over there you can see actually the big 5 in the distance. And on this side you get a pretty good view. This is my most disappointing of the long-necked dinosaurs. If you remember from the build episode 2, I put them in a slightly larger enclosure and I thought, what the heck, they're tiny. Because I never add them. I believe they are the Armagosaurus or something. You see them in the back there. But they are small. Interesting though, but you get the idea. Here we have our selfie log, our photo log. I put the log banner next to it. I thought that'd be funny. Like the log is a tourist attraction. There it is. So you get a little bit of a view, but unfortunately it's not the most spectacular anyways. Surprisingly, it's hardly taller than the than the grass. So continuing on down here, Grandma's Rascal coming down here. Imagine that. Oh boy, she'll fly out of the rascal. That's why we have the fence, so she doesn't go into the brachiosaur enclosures or the long-necked dinosaur enclosures. Here we have the largest dinosaur coming up, the Dreadnoughtus, I believe. I don't know if it's the largest. I think it is. But you're going to see. So here you can see how big it is. With
This
that
colossal
whipping tail.
titanosaurian originally lived in our...
Yep, Titanosaurian. Here we have the zip line. So I thought this would be cool to put over because they could really reach up and pull you off the zip line. They might think that you're a big leaf, and they'll reach up and they'll pull you off the vine. And then, well, then you would try to sue the park, but you would not be successful because my park has a lot of lawyers. They are masters of their craft. So don't try it. Now we only have a couple species left. Here is a nice balanced species. This is one of those everybody can appreciate species. Not too big, not too small. Over here we have the dinosaur that is difficult name to pronounce. I remember, I think the person said that they were called the Nigersaurus or something because it's French. Now in order to see it we have to go up here. Up ahead is Carno Crest, but we are taking a turn here because Bracky Valley ends over here. We have another not brachiosaur, long-necked dinosaur. So here we have our main plaza of the area. You need your coffee. Drink the coffee. Here we have our viewing gallery. We can see these beautiful dinosaurs. Pretty happy. I think it's pretty neat looking. I think it has an interesting shaped head. Now over here though we have our final species. I think this is the one. It's basically like a brachiosaurus but smaller, slightly. I forget what it's called. I always thought this one had a real funny face, kind of like a tortoise. You ever look at a sulcata's head? It looks just like that. And it also has that sort of dopiness. But they're pretty cute. Okay, back to the Carno Crest. So here we have Carno Crest. This is getting up to the top. Originally, I didn't know how big I wanted to make the Carno Crest, but I went with this because the feathered species pack and the late Cretaceous pack did not go on sale. They have a lot of feathered species, so I made Carno Crest bigger to make up for it. For viewing galleries, I did something different. I used the Biosyn observation tower, which are connected with a hyperloop. I thought that would really separate the area and make it special. But also, it gives the idea that that these are dangerous dinosaurs, and we don't want you to actually get too close to them. Now, these Biosyn observation towers, they do not spin, they do not move, they just go up and down, but if you switch cameras a lot, you actually get a pretty good view. You can see pretty much 180 degrees perfectly. So that is a good thing. When I first put them in, I didn't know the Hyperloop building was in the power generator building tab. I thought that it would be somewhere else, so I used a staff building, and it was lagging my game file. I keep the part closed at all times as I was building, because once I open the park, I have like 5,000 guests all coming into the park at the same time. The file just lags. The frame rate goes down to maybe 3 frames a second or less. It's terrible. So I thankfully switched it to the Hyperloop building from the power generator tab, and I get to have a functioning Hyperloop without the staff. There's a goat, the mascot of the area. Where's the dino? There he is. This is a neat enclosure because that enclosure is the only one on a slope. Here's a cool one. This is a Chunkyosaurus. No, it's not really called Chunkyosaurus, but he's really chunky. Where is he? There's a Tyrannosaurus. I have 2 Tyrannosauruses. That one is Little E.T., I believe, from Camp Cretaceous, that skin variety. I did tell you in episode 9, I think it was, that there's Chunky. Chunky is a much beloved dinosaur. He's so chunky. I did tell you in episode 9 I added another Tyrannosaurus, but you'd have to wait and see. So it is I believe it's called Little E.T. from Camp Cretaceous. I never watched it, but apparently it is interesting. Is that, yeah, those are 2 different variants of the same dinosaur. I did put the Tyrannosaurus in an enclosure with other dinosaurs, but that's because I put them in and then I forgot that I put them in. So it's a happy little mistake. Now I have 2 Tyrannosaurus enclosures looking at each other. So there's Little E.T. And on the other side, I have the 1997 movie. Was it 1997? Well, Jurassic Park movie, which is right there. Classic Tyrannosaurus Rex. Everybody loves it. This view is not so good. There's a Tyrannosaurus, but I guess the Tyrannosaurus really likes that area, so at least you get to see it. There, you get a good view there, though. That's a great view. There's Chunky. And then our final observation tower. Well, no, we have 2 more. But one of them you can't even see from the path. There's our Tyrannosaurus. And our other one is over there in the corner. And Chunky over there. And then on this side you can actually... where is the dinosaurs? I guess they're way over there. Well, we can go check it out. That's why we have 2 viewing galleries here. That sounds like a zombie from Minecraft. You know, when you're in the mines and it makes that noise. Here we have some dinosaurs. I forget what these ones were called. I'm not a professional when it comes to dinosaur names. I know some YouTubers, like, they know all 122 Jurassic World Evolution 2 dinosaur names off by heart, which is pretty impressive. So here, taking a tour. Anyways, I'm not good with names. Even people's names, you know. I'm not a name person. I'm a face person. So you'll have to excuse me. Going up the path, I wanted it to be where you are not stopping and smelling the roses too much. You're going through the area. Really, I have no idea why you even take the path, because we have the Hyperloop. Now this was a bit of a tricky area because just like Bracky Valley, the terrain was quite limited. So I am happy how it turned out. We did include a lot of rocks, but not too many rocks. You know, this is my first big build park, so I didn't want to overburden the save file too early into the build. So I wasn't exactly sure how much I could get away with. Here we have our Tyrannosaurus Rex enclosures on either side. I put these flaming torches here so that you could know. You wouldn't want to get this close in reality. So on the other side, Tyrannosaurus Rex over there. And then here we have the other Biosyn Hyperloop building. This is, I guess, entrance exit. So you could get into the Hyperloop at the very bottom and get out of the Hyperloop at the very top. And here we have the top, which is called Feather Peak. A Feather Peak is a very limited build because I had so few dinosaurs with feathers. I was really gambling that the Feathered Predators pack and the Late Cretaceous pack would go on sale before I filmed it. But unfortunately it did not, so I had to use the feathered species from my other packs, which are only a few. There's a dinosaur low health, and low health is gone. As I said in my park build, it's probably in the aviary, and the way to fix it is to save and reload your save, and the dinosaurs should get unstuck. But you should do that early, because when the low health indicator happens, it has about 40% health. If you do that too late, even though it gets unstuck, it's not able to get to the feeder in time, and it will die of starvation, no matter how many times you reload it. So when you see it, just do that pretty quick. So as I was saying, I only have 4 enclosures here. Over here we have our plaza area. Don't get too close to the edge. But the plaza area here, which is pretty nice. I used a monorail platform, and I'm imagining that could be a sort of viewing platform. An elongated viewing platform. So it's like a long viewing platform. I did put a Jurassic tour in. I think I said it in my video, my park tour, but I thought it was a gyrosphere. But I didn't realize until it was too late. So you can ride back, you can ride in the front with that driver. Here we have these guys.
Therizinosaurus, the enormous scythe lizard, is a feathered theropod from Mongolia. This herbivore's meter-long claws may appear terrifying, but were in fact inherited from their carnivorous ancestors.
Ooh, who's that? Wonder what that could be. You'll find out soon enough. So, unfortunately, those meter-long clawed lizards I rely on them a little too much. Them and pyroraptors, because the other two species are way too small. Hello. Can I help you? Are you okay? Right. The other species are way too small. And you could see that when I was doing the park tour. That, okay, hello? Are you okay there? Can I help you? When I was doing the park tour, she's still staring at me. Stop staring at me. There, okay, good. So when I was doing the park tour, I was so disappointed. 2 out of my 4 feathered species are way, way, way too small. You can't even see them. They're so small. I was so disappointed. So I thought, well, I actually put one of them in this enclosure. I thought it would be bigger. They've really got to tell you how big they are in the hatchery screen. You know? It's insane. So anyways, I just put pyroraptors and those big lizards with claws in a lot of enclosures because they're the only ones you can see. What the heck? Okay. We have our pyroraptor. He must smell something. Quite spectacular. This is why you take the tour. Beautiful tour.
Are drawing attention away from this predator's most dangerous weapon, the strong, curved, sickle claws on its feet.
Yeah, so there you can see the monorail hub. I think that's pretty cool. Here we have the door opening for us. Hopefully nothing escapes. And opens again. Okay, we're nearly back at the tour building. Okay, can I help you with something? You know, you've been staring at me an awful lot in this tour. Okay, now she's looking away. Are you embarrassed? Are you shy? It's okay. I'm a bit shy too. Well,
off-road adventures can be uncomfortable for those who are pregnant or suffer
there
with
we
motion
go.
sickness.
We just avoided a very awkward situation. So making our way back to the main path, away from the hub, or the, not the hub, but the plaza. You can have a coffee here, you can have a little tour, a little lab tour. Here we have more of those big, long-clawed lizards. And that scene from the movie was something else. Remember that? There they are. I did add different colors. This one's green and blue. I thought that's pretty cool. Can you see the other species? Do you know what the other species is? I bet you don't because it's too small to see. I wonder. What could it be? So you see, I have to add those dinosaurs, and you just can't see anything. These enclosures would basically be empty. Here we have a viewing gallery. This is the rock viewing gallery because I put a bunch of rocks in here. And from here you can see, you probably didn't even see the other species I had in this enclosure either. There are 3 species. One of them is again too small. Do you know what it could be? Do you know what that 3rd species is? It's tiny. Yeah, they were disappointing. I am done with small dinosaurs. I'm afraid I am done with them. They are too small. So Feather Peak stretches around the mountain. It's essentially just a continuation of Carno Crest in its elevation. It was all one big area. Here we have another viewing gallery. You have one more chance to see which of the tiny species are in here. I see it. Can you see it? It's by the rock. Oh, and there's one by the lake. Or well, the puddle of water. But to it is like a lake. It is the oviraptor, or whatever it's called. It is really small. The other one was, I forget, it was essentially like a little raptor, or a little tyrannosaurid, I think it said. Up here we have, yes, the pyroraptors. This is their original enclosure, and these are with the movie skins. So, well, the movie
It would be
covers,
unwise to
I believe,
underestimate this
or are they?
undersized predator, for Pyroraptor is capable of blistering pace and possesses an inextinguishable desire to capture and devour its prey.
I like this one. I like its tail. Very fluffy. I imagine it would probably be very soft. But you know, we're getting close to the peak now. The elevation is, I don't even know how high we are, but we're very close to the very top. And you know what goes on the top? The king of the dinosaurs. So I added the feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex up here. I originally added it to Carno Crest. It was the original movie Tyrannosaurus Rex and the feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex. Then I moved the feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex to the Jurassic Tour enclosure with the truck, but then I moved it up here. And I just thought, well, it's the king of the dinosaurs. It should be having the very top place. So we got some great views of it here. You know, you'd be forgiven for thinking it doesn't have feathers because its feathers are so small. In fact, I would hardly call it a feathered dinosaur, but I'm desperate. I'm desperate for a feathered dinosaur. Don't make me put the Pyroraptor in another enclosure. Here we have these viewing galleries, but these viewing galleries are different. These galleries are viewing the park. So when you finally get to the top, you are rewarded with this wonderful view. So there's the aviary area, the hotel, alternative views are not very good. There's the mountains. And then we have another viewing gallery here. This one is my favorite viewing gallery because it has the best view of the park. You can see the Big Five, the petting zoo, the swamp, the aviary, the lagoon. I think you can see Bracky Valley. Yep, Bracky Valley as well. So this viewing gallery is really amazing. This is definitely the one you gotta pay some money. And at the back, you can actually see the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. There, you can see. So you actually get a great, great view. And that is the end. So Jurassic Peak is finished. This is such an amazing park build. I'm so proud of it. It's the best park build I've ever done in my life, up till now, of course. And I think this is a great way to say, you know what, Jurassic World Evolution 2, you've been good to me. I had a great time with it, and I am happy to have played it. I will probably do 1 or 2 more series on the channel, but they will be much smaller. And they will be less frequent. 1 series a week at most. 1 episode, a week at most. And they will not be 10 parts. I would say that Jurassic Peak has been an idea of mine for a while. I know people are really good at terraforming. I've seen some amazing maps, but this was a really cool idea. And I would say it was 100% personal. Now, I will be doing a Jurassic Peak in Jurassic World Evolution 3, but I will wait for the DLCs to come out. I don't want to do a Jurassic Peak and feel like, oh, I should have waited to get a certain dinosaur. So I will wait until the DLCs are out, and then I will do a Jurassic Peak on JWE3. Oh, take in that beauty. So here we have the night view. I don't usually play on night. When I'm building, I actually usually just have a day-night cycle. I don't know why, but I think it is important to see what the lights look like. So I do keep it to a day-night cycle, 20 minutes and 20 minutes. I think it really helps. So you get to see how beautiful it looks at night. Here we have the castle on the hill. That was a great build. I like to imagine that this area had, I don't know, like a Spanish fortress or something, and everything's all broken down now, but it's been repurposed for the park. Up here we have the Dimetrodons. Where are they? Well, somewhere. So the park is so peaceful at night. I love all the little lights. Here we have the plaza. Looks really good. The hub is just glowing. It is so beautiful. Bracky Valley. It's a bit dark, just like it should be. Here we have the plaza, which looks great. I didn't realize those cages had lights on them. I don't really expect guests and visitors to be observing the park at night, but there would be night tours for people who are staying at the hotel, and they would get some special perks. So yeah, there'd be some activities at night, but it's limited. And here we are at the top. The hatchery, I kept the hatchery because I thought, well, the aviary and the lagoon are a bit difficult, but if something dies of starvation, I'm out of space now. So it's better to just keep the hatchery just in case. And here we have the other hotel area. This is the third area. I really like how that turned out with the fountains. Okay, and our final shot of the park tour is the raw build. This is what the park looked like before I started to build. So this is what it looked like in its terraformed state. 7 hours of terraforming. You can see the similarities, but you can also see the areas that I manipulated very heavily. So yes, it does look quite similar in many ways, but there are some serious differences, especially when we get to Carno Crest. This area here, here's where that long enclosure was. And then up here we have Feather Peak. And over there is the aviary. So it is a successful build. Thank you so much for watching this park tour of Jurassic Peak, and I really do hope to see you again soon. Please consider liking and subscribing if you like this content, and let me know what you want to see in future builds. Until next time, I'll say see you later.